You want to share something with us?
I've worked really hard.
Welcome to a new episode of Endoscopy Essential. Today I'm very glad to be here with Evelien Dekker. Thank you, Evelyn, for accepting and being here and having this interview. And today we'll talk about your personal life, medical personal life, let's say your career and how you got to reach this point. And, I'm very glad personally because you already know that I consider you one of my role models because when I started, you were really the only one in this field as a woman famous on the stage. So do you want to share something with us?
What about medical life?
Yes,
right?
medical life, not real personal.
As I said, already told you, this is too much honor. But yes, I think when I started my training in my center, we were with a few women doing that. I was definitely not the only one, but it was different at that time. The staff were all males except for just one woman. And yes, we were working hard. Most did not have children. I did have 2 children during my internal medicine training, which at that time was really, something totally new. The professor asked me if I knew how to make children and why I was pregnant. He asked me.
Wow.
And I said, yes, I know. And I'm very sure I would like to have children. So I personally am very happy. But I see I have to make sure, and I want to make sure that I can combine that with my working life. So by the time I was with gastro, this was already a little bit stabilized. And I did my training. I worked hard. I really enjoyed it. A part of it I could do 4 days a week because I had a professor who was accepting that and thought it was a win-win. And I think there was, because the 5th day I could take care of my 2 children, but also I had some space and some time to start doing research again, because I had done my PhD when I was younger in malaria research in Africa and in Vietnam, which was fantastic, but of course had nothing to do with GI, where I ended up, and I really like GI. So during my fellowship, I started doing some early work on dysplasia screening in patients with ulcerative colitis, with MBI, and also around that time, we were starting to think about screening for colorectal cancer in the Netherlands.
Okay.
So then, after my training, our departmental head, Sander van Deventer at that time, he asked me whether I would be willing to stay as a staff member and start the colorectal cancer research group, which was really along the lines of how our department was developed by Guido Tietgat in the past, which was really based on pillars of expertise. So we had an IBD group that was excellent, both in taking care of patients as well as doing research and of course also teaching and education. We had hepatology, we had already motility, we had upper GI or Barrett's, and HPV and some others. But nobody was doing colorectal cancer.
So you enter in the lower GI, let's say in this way, by chance.
By chance, absolutely, because at that time I was not thinking of staying in the academy. I really liked my patient work as well. But, I thought I give it a try. It's a nice moment. Things are indeed, the cancer screening was coming, the endoscopic new developments were great. So I thought, let's go for it. So I achieved a grant from the National Cancer Foundation, which also has stimulated my career. I did some basic research in the Cancer Center. I went to the St. Mark's in London for 6 weeks to learn more about polyposis syndromes and about the screening programs and about high quality colonoscopy. So when I came back, I was totally inspired in setting up those things. So I started an outpatient clinic for hereditary cancer syndromes and together with the clinical geneticians. We started designing studies as pilot programs for the National Screening Program. We started doing research with the new endoscopic imaging methodologies. So that was really the start of my career, and it was a fantastic time. And actually, what I think is a very nice anecdote is that so my professor said, yeah, it would be great to have a familial cancer clinic, and you can already start during your fellowship. Just start. And I said, okay, sounds good. How do I start? He said, well, you walk downstairs, there's an office, and there they make the signs, and you just order a sign that says hereditary cancer clinic, and you put it next to your room, and then you start. So that's what I did. I just said, well, maybe cancer, if I put it there, maybe people don't want to sit there, so I give it a different name, but that's how it started.
And what was the name?
Hereditary polyp clinic or something. I don't even remember, but yes, that's where we started, and it was a great opportunity and at a good moment also in time for me. Busy life, trying to balance everything, but also in terms of all the new stuff coming. I was lucky, I think, as well.
Yeah. What was your main aspiration when you started in gastro?
In gastro, as I said, I come from internal medicine. What I much liked about gastro is the combination. I like talking to patients, caring for patients on the longer term, and knowing them better. But I also like doing endoscopies and doing heavy bleeds and stuff that really, means that there's adrenaline and you have to make sure the patient, is doing well. And I think gastro has the ideal combination. And at that time, I didn't even know all the things that were going to happen in the collaborations with the surgeons, for example. At that time, we were totally two separate areas, and now we're doing so much in collaboration. And that's also what I'm enjoying so much with the hereditary cancer clinic, is the collaboration again with the pediatricians. We scope their difficult polyposis patients together. Then at age 18, they come to us. The collaborations with, again, the surgeons, the oncologists, the following of the families, often more than just one patient, and knowing their ins and outs, and not doing that on myself. Also, I have a great team with Barbara Bastiaanse, with Sanjay, my other colleague, and also with two nurses, specialized nurses that take care of a lot more than we could ever do. And that teamwork, you feel you can do more than just by yourself. It's so nice. And then again, also for those patients, all the new developments in endoscopy and trying to save them from surgeons and to try to survey them endoscopically and to balance choices together with the patient, I think is one of the nicest parts.
So looking back at your career, is there anything that you wouldn't done? No, you wouldn't done, or you wouldn't done differently for what you did.
Would not have done.
Yes, sorry, you would not have done.
That's interesting. I can't tell you because I've been lucky. I've worked really hard. Do I regret that? No. I think my family's happy and sees I'm happy. And would I have done that different? I think nowadays everybody is doing it different from the way I've done it, but I don't regret that.
So Evelyn, coming back to your career, is there anything that you would have been done differently?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think so. I've done all the things I've done with a lot of enthusiasm because I really like it. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much work. Sometimes the challenges with my family or my private life, my social life have been big. I've always tried to be everywhere, both medically as well as socially, and of course, first of all, my family. But I've done everything with my heart, and yeah, then you have a lot of energy and you can provide a lot. So no, I think the answer is no.
Oh, it's a clear answer. I like it. But basically, how did you decide to enter in the medical field before arriving to malaria, gastroenterology?
Even before.
Even before the young Evelyn.
The young
What was she thinking?
She was young. She was really young because I was only 17 when I finished high school. So I was sent away for a year, or sent is maybe a bit too strong, but my parents said it would be nice for you. Nowadays, that's very normal, but it wasn't. So I went to the US for a year, and I thought, what do I like? And there were many different things, but a lot came towards psychology, psychiatry, those kind of things. So I decided to try to get into medicine, because I thought then at least I can also prescribe medications for sick people in their head instead of just being, just talking. So, and I was very lucky. It was a lottery at that time in the Netherlands. Now they select, but a lottery, and I was lucky to get in. And actually my first year, I liked it, but not all aspects. And I was also attracted a lot to the city center in Amsterdam and the student life. And I had to all the time take the metro to go far out, and was not, so I thought, I'll try also law, study law. But I did it next to medicine the second year.
Didn't know.
And that was interesting because at that time, medicine, my studies became more interesting. The second year, you're a little bit over the basics. And law is just something so different, and so for me strange, because it's often illogical. You design a law, and then as a lawyer you try to avoid following the law because of good reasons. Like, this is not actually, my daughter is almost finishing her master in law now, so it's a dangerous thing to tell you. But so things, by the time I became much more enthusiastic. As you know, in my third year, I went to Italy for 4 months to do a research project in more internal medicine. So by time it really caught me, I must say. And then, during my fellowships, things went well. To be honest, I have two parents being doctors.
Okay. So you're not the first one.
I don't know. I'm not the first one. They never told me I should study medicine. Actually, they had a bet amongst themselves. They told me that they thought I would. I'm the eldest daughter. But especially when being an adolescent, you don't want to do what your parents do, right? So I kind of tried to think of many other things that would be very nice in life, but I ended up doing the same. And that's fine. I mean, my parents are proud. My mom doesn't live anymore. My father is proud. And I love what I do. I couldn't imagine I would have another job, actually.
Yeah, because more than once you said I was lucky. Do you think it's only a matter of be lucky?
Not only. I think there's many elements that come to it. So luck is part of it, but you can make luck also. So it's the combination.
Yeah, and you can use what life is offering you at that time to really to try to start and understanding if it's your way or not.
Absolutely, and don't be hesitant in not trying, because you can always change your steps or your career. There's nothing wrong with that, because then you're convinced that's not the way to go. Yeah. And it's always difficult to make choices and to leave things behind. But if you decide, you don't leave it behind, but you just give it a try, like I did several times.
Or as you were mentioning with law in the second year of medicine.
Yeah, you can give it a try, and it makes more clear why you're doing things. So I think you can force luck as well. It's a combination. And again, if you do it from an inspiration or a motivation that comes from the heart, it's so much easier to give the time and the energy.
Okay, so let's say that you have a very young gastroenterology, maybe a resident or a very young fellow, that comes to you asking for 3 advices. You have 3 advices that can give to him or her. We're not talking about gender. What's the main point
the
that
main
you...
point? Well, of course, now I get circle back to my first point. Do the things you like, and then you will by itself provide the energy and become good or good, very good, maybe. So that would be one. Two is don't be afraid for making choices, again, because they're not definitive. Nobody is going to tell you it can never change. And it's better to make a choice and then decide it's a good one or a wrong one than waiting until somebody else decides for you. So that would be two. And three is don't be afraid to work hard sometimes. I mean, things do take time and effort, and nothing comes for nothing. So there's not, if you like your job, it's not a problem to work hard. Don't forget your private life. Don't forget your family. Try to enjoy both things as much as possible.
Wow. I always see you as one that was really enjoying what she's doing. And this is why you were my role model. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.